Hi, I'm Joel Hamilton, and I'm going to do my presentation tonight on financial fraud. Financial fraud is a civil law defined as an intentional act of deception involving financial transactions for purpose of personal gain. Financial fraud is a serious threat that many businesses face in this day and age, and isn't something that should be taken lightly. It ends up costing companies billions of dollars each year. Today I will be talking about the 4 forms of financial fraud, the importance of fraud prevention, and preventative measures that should be taken. So there's 4 forms of financial fraud. There's asset misappropriation, which is simply people stealing assets from the company, whether it be cash or some other form. And then there's bribery, which is offering money to gain an advantage, and corruption, which is when someone abuses their position of power for personal gain. And financial statement fraud, which is defined as, according to Chris Bradford, as deliberate misrepresentation, misstatement, or omission of financial statement data for the purpose of misleading the reader and creating a false impression of an organization's financial strength. Financial statement fraud ends up costing companies the most out of all forms, and examples of this would include hidden liabilities, false profits, and overstating assets. Now that the forms of fraud are out of the way, it's time to get into the importance of fraud prevention. So not taking preventative measures when it comes to financial fraud can result in drastically greater losses to your company. According to the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, in 2016, 5% of companies' total profits was lost due to financial fraud, and companies that took preventative measures had half the losses of those that didn't. If fraud measures are not taken, the fraud can go on for a drastically longer period of time. The longer the fraud goes on, the greater the losses are going to be, and the more employees that could be participating without you even knowing. Financial fraud prevention will also improve the outside image of your company. The less fraud that there is going on within your company, the more likely that people will want to do business with you. The importance of financial fraud prevention can't be stressed enough, and there are many ways to go about preventing. One way is to do background checks on all your employees. This includes criminal history, past employment references, criminal offenses, so on. And the best way to stop potential fraud within the workplace is by ultimately hiring the right employees. Another one is establish internal controls. One good way of doing so is by having employees rotate duties where financial fraud is likely to happen. So by doing so, one of your employees could find suspicious activity that the previous employee doing that duty was partaking in. And the third one, train your employees how to detect fraud. If employees are taught how to detect fraud, employees will know that other employees will be watching, and this could ultimately stop or decrease the amount of time that the fraud goes on. There are many other steps that can be taken in fraud prevention, but I feel these are of the most importance. Financial fraud is something that should be taken very seriously by companies, and preventative measures are a must if you want to reduce the losses from financial fraud. Ultimately, the gain will outweigh the loss when it comes to financial fraud preventative measures being put into place.